Thank you for being here, Madam Undersecretary. In your confirmation hearing, you stated that China was trying to, quote, reshape the global order. In your opinion, is it in our national interest to have our American bilateral and multilateral relationships overtaken by China?
I would disagree with the premise that they are.
I'm just asking you, in your opinion, I assume the answer is no, that it's not in our interest, and I agree with you. But in fact, that is exactly what the Trump administration is allowing to happen with all the cuts to USAID funding. As we slash foreign assistance, China is stepping up its investments in the Silk Road for too many countries. It's becoming the only place to turn to backfill previous US investments. And General Michael Langley, the commander of US Africa Command, stated that China is, quote, trying to replicate specific USAID programs in Africa that the United States has cut, and that this trend has been seen globally. Madam Undersecretary, are you aware of how the USAID cuts and Trump's isolationism have what they've done to America's and China's respective global favorability?
Congresswoman, I would disagree with the premise of multiple components of your statement.
Do you know what's happened to U.S. favorability relative to China's favorability?
In fact, we've had a great response in some of our countries that we're providing aid, that we're moving from a dependency relationship.
Do you have any numbers for me?
Well, I can tell you that we're continuing our PEPFAR life-saving
I'm asking
programs.
about favorability. Are you aware that in January of 2024, a year before Trump came into office, the U.S. favorability rating was above 20 and China was in negative territory? And at the end of May, after just 5 months of Trump coming into office, China had a net favorability of 8.8 compared to negative 1.5 for the United States? Were you aware of that?
I'm not sure what the sources of your numbers are.
So you're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of the sources of your numbers.
Let me read you some statistics about how your administration's cuts will increase Chinese influence around the globe. Because of these cuts, Chinese investments in assistance programs will now surpass American investments in 40 more countries. China will now operate 16 more diplomatic posts abroad than the United States. And if the president's budget request is enacted into law and the U.S. fails to pay its UN-assessed contributions, China would actually be the biggest contributor to the UN regular budget and UN peacekeeping operations. Is this what making America great again means to you, ceding America's global leadership in the world to China?
Congresswoman, at our funding currently, we remain the world's largest donor of aid. Next to the next 10 countries, we are still the greatest
Madam Undersecretary, you may want to look at those statistics that I sent you and look at what these cuts mean. Would you agree that Mandarin language skills are a valuable tool for U.S. diplomats working on China and strategic competition issues? It's not a hard question, Madam Undersecretary.
No, I'm still wondering if we're going to be able to respond to some of the other
It's my
statements.
time, so you are welcome to send me a written response, but I'm asking you about Mandarin language skills. Do you think they're valuable?
We have Mandarin language skills at the Department of State, yes.
So you think they're valuable?
Yes.
And the department just fired over 1,300 staff to meet an arbitrary firing target. Do you know what % of the department's total Mandarin language capacity was lost in that RIF?
Congresswoman, the reorganization was not arbitrary, nor was it haphazard.
Do you know how many of the department's total Mandarin language capacity was lost in the RIF?
I'm unaware of that.
So you don't know even how we're staffing our relationship with China, and you're the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs. Can you at least tell me if language skills, in this case Mandarin, weigh into the department's evaluation of individual staff that were RIF'd?
Thank you, and thank you, Congresswoman, for that question. The Office of China Affairs falls under my purview.
And you don't know how many, do you know how many people we have that speak Mandarin now?
I'm responsible for the diplomacy that is conducted out of the Office of
And you think diplomacy
China,
can be done without people that speak the skills?
and also the embassy. And I have confidence in our training programs at the Department of State.
Sounds like you're not really aware of what skills we have to actually build that
This lady's
relationship.
time is